starting to get chilly and my body is craving all things warm and comforting. So today I'm gonna share soup recipes to enjoy during the colder months. All of the soup recipes that I'm sharing today are vegan as always, but they're also gluten-free. They're pretty easy to make. And the best part about it is that you can adjust them all to your liking. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a silky soup. Sometimes I like it a little bit chunkier. So depending on what you're in the mood for, you can always adjust it. In this video, we're gonna make a sweet potato and leek soup. And this one, by popular demand, a loaded baked potato soup. Each of these soups are so different in flavor profile and texture that it'll help to keep things fun and fresh even during the colder months. Before we get started, just a reminder that all the recipes will be linked in the description box below, and feel free to serve any of these soups with grains, rice, or pasta of choice to bulk it up and make it more of a meal. I love soup with a good piece of crusty bread, so make it your own and let's get cooking. So of course we had to start with one of my personal favorite soups. This is a little bit of a riff off of the classic leek and potato soup. And instead of using regular potatoes, we're actually using some sweet potatoes, which are amazing because they're not only sweet in flavor, which adds a little subtle difference to the dish, but also high in beta carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A and is an essential vitamin for your immune system and great for the cold and flu season and just chillier months in general. To start off, we're peeling sweet potatoes. I use about 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes, but we're gonna chop it into chunks. And a little tip that I have for you is to cut it into smaller chunks so that the potato actually cooks through a little bit more quickly. Try to keep it as uniform as possible so that everything cooks at the same time. And then of course, we are gonna chop up our leek. We're using 1 whole leek for this recipe, and leeks are notoriously dirty. There's a lot of dirt to be found in between all the layers of the leek, so don't be afraid to peel it apart to make sure that there is no dirt in your soup. I like to slice my leeks very thinly, and this will be the base aromatic for our dish. So instead of using like onion and garlic, for example, we're gonna be using leek, and it has really so much flavor. It also might seem like a lot of leek, and it kind of is, but trust me, it creates so much incredible flavor. And we're also gonna reserve some of the leek that we saute on the side to use as a topping for the soup. I personally really love this, and I think it makes the soup extra special. Then we're gonna add a little bit of oil to a pot, toss in our leeks, and just start to saute and cook down. You wanna be really patient with this and make sure that they're nice and tender. And then next to the pot, we're gonna add some finely sliced garlic and also some chili flakes. You might want to use a little less than I did. I went a little ham here because I love a good amount of spice, and also a little bit of smoked paprika for some smokiness. Cook everything down and then add your sweet potato chunks, saute for another couple of minutes and add veggie broth, and then bring the whole mixture to a boil and lower it to a simmer just until your sweet potato chunks are nice and fork tender. Blend until completely smooth. You may need to add a little bit of water or extra vegetable stock to thin it out a little bit. And I like to serve it with crusty bread or, like I said, some sauteed leeks and a little bit of olive oil if desired. Next up is this baked potato soup. Now this was a reader request, so of course we grabbed some potatoes and I'm stabbing some holes into it. You can cook them using 2 methods. One is the microwave method, which is super quick and easy. Just put them in there until they're nice and tender. Alternatively, you can roast them in the oven, and then you want to peel off the skin so you're left with just the potato. Then we're going to cut these potatoes into chunks, and we're going to start off by creating our bacon alternative. So I like to use mushrooms for this. I'm using shiitake mushrooms and a vegan bacon marinade from my blog. It's got a little bit of tamari, smoked paprika, liquid smoke, and other ingredients in it to really give the mushroom a bacony feel. We're just cooking it down until the marinade kind of is absorbed by the mushrooms. And then we're going to cook in the same pot because I like to use any leftover oil as the base for flavor for the soup. I'm adding onion, sauteing until nice and translucent, and then also adding some garlic, some smoked paprika, some garlic powder, and cooking down until nice and fragrant. Then I'm adding in a little bit of gluten-free flour, which is going to help to thicken up the soup, and very slowly adding in the veggie broth. So do this gradually, keep whisking as you go. Bring everything to a low boil, then lower the heat and add nutritional yeast, some plant milk, and then add back in your potato chunks. And that's it for the soup. The fun part is really adding on the toppings that you'd like. So add whatever you usually add to a baked potato. You could add some vegan sour cream, vegan cheese, obviously vegan bacon, chives. The possibilities are endless. And the last soup we're going to be making is a vegan lasagna soup, basically like a deconstructed lasagna in soup form, and I love that. So it starts with some onions that we're going to cook down until nice and tender. I added some chopped parsley, some salt and pepper, some fresh thyme, some red chili flakes, which you can probably tell by now that I absolutely love, some fresh garlic, and I'm just cooking this down for a few minutes. Then I'm using some vegan ground beef. This one is a pea protein based ground beef, but if you don't want to use a meat alternative, you can consider using something like tempeh or tofu, or you could just leave it out completely. To the pot, we're gonna add some tomato paste, and you really wanna cook that out for a few minutes. Then we're adding some marinara sauce. You can use your favorite kind, and some veggie broth. Bring this mixture to a boil, toss in that mysterious bay leaf just because, and then add in your gluten-free lasagna noodles to cook down. Once the lasagna noodles are tender and cooked through, the soup is just about ready, and this is when you want to hit it with some basil and just adjust to taste. Add any salt and pepper. All right, beans, that is the end of today's video. Let me know which soup sounds the best to you and which one you'll be making first. My personal favorite is the sweet potato and leek soup. I've made it 3 times already this month, and I'll probably make it again. As a reminder, all the recipes will be linked down below in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another one soon. Bye.